Hey everyone, welcome back here to Business Shenanigans. I'm Trent May here with May Financial Group. With me, as always, your Moroccan superhero, Mahmoud Boutam, Sprout Digital, and our very special guest, friend of mine from way back in the day, like way back, Howard Griffin. How's it going, man?
Hey, good, good. How are you guys?
All right.
Wonderful.
Recently relocated to Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is a fun city. That's all I can say about it.
It is a fun city. I actually went to Nashville for a wedding, and but we didn't stay in Nashville. Like they had rooms for like the families and stuff at some like suburb. And so we were expecting to go out, even though it was a suburb, we were expecting to go out like it was Nashville. And apparently that entire town shut down at like 9 p.m. And we were like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it depends. The farther you get from the city, like the sleepier it gets out there. So,
So you have been working on films. Here's your company, Howie G Films. Take us down that rabbit hole. Like, how did that start for you?
yeah, I guess the main thing what started is like I've always been kind of an art person anyway. Like all through high school, it's just art classes, college kind of art classes a little bit, and then just always been a huge movie buff. And then one day I was just like, well, can I make these things? And then from there, I just started going to school, looking at films, and then trying to figure out how to do my own projects. That's kind of how I got into it.
Cool.
You have formal training? Like, did you?
Yeah, I went to an art school, the Art Institute. Okay experience, but the best experience I got is kind of just go out there and doing your own projects. That's
On
kind of where
field?
my learning ground has really been.
Yeah.
Like how
Do you, uh
sorry, go ahead.
do you ever do like a lot of people like coming in your field? They would learn through like copycat. Do you see yourself like doing that? Like, ooh, I like that. I'm gonna try it next time when I'm editing this shot, or whatever, or like a
Oh
camera
yeah,
angle.
yeah, all the time. I mean, like, if you watch enough stuff, you draw inspiration from all those kind of things. And so you try to go out there and see if you can do that. I'll pick something and then try to see if I can replicate it and then like learn it and then try to implement it later on. That's just pretty much what I'm constantly doing. And there's so many different like facets of film that you kind of have to go down to with like lighting and then like filming and then even directing in itself is more than what people think it is. So it's just a constant like learning. So
Take us back to those,
Absolutely. There's also
first.
trends.
Sorry, what was that? I think you're on a bit of delay.
I, Yeah, I am. I think so. I was saying like there's also trends. So like every year you see something new and you're like, oh, I've never seen that before. That's cool. Like a lighting or like a directing angle or something like that.
yeah, there's constantly trends, and trends come back around all the time too. They start. I mean, that's how everything is trends, fashion. It all just kind of circles back and forth. But I don't. I think for me, it's like I tried to. I almost more or less for myself, my own brand. I wanted to establish my own look, so
Mm.
that way I don't have to be forced to just fall into every hot trend right now. So and that's kind of where I leave it at. It's like, hey, this is what my look is. If that's the trend you want, you can go with that person. But
Mm-hmm.
here's what I'm offering. So.
It's awesome you're able to say that and just kind of stick to what you want to do. That's awesome. Take us back to those first days of okay, I've decided I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make it happen. Like how terrifying is that?
It's extremely terrifying and it's so much fun at the same time. It honestly starts. I guess the biggest thing I can think about is, if you go to school for art, and this could be with a lot of other fields too. You try to jump into it, and you're like, okay, cool, I have this art degree now. Now people are going to hire me to go do art stuff, and it's completely not it. Everybody's like, well, let me see your portfolio. Well, let me see your portfolio, and I was like, well, I don't have a portfolio. We never did anything in my school, so
Wow.
um, so, so I spent like 3 years just like collecting gear and doing everything, and just I honestly just didn't go out any place. I just sat and went to work, bought equipment, got stuff, just got enough stuff to kind of start to get myself going, and then from there it was really just like hitting up as many people as I could on Instagram, Facebook, or any place else, just offering to do some like free work for people, and just constantly back and forth. So I finally got a few people that wanted to do something with me, and then ended up working with a girl in Cincinnati that really kind of like launched everything for me.
And that's really
Nice.
why I wanted to have you on, because like, a lot of people take, the traditional, like, it's like almost like the safe career path where like you go to school, you get the diploma, and then you get the job, you work your way up. I mean, but with film, I mean, yeah, you went with school, but I mean, you got to put all that together yourself. There's all the startup. I mean, you just don't have all that equipment lying around.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's like 3 years of just straight grind for you.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience, and I mean, it's kind of that way with a lot of different things. I think if you do anything that's outside the 9 to 5, you're going to have to do more initially than what you're
Mhm.
planning on to get things going. I mean, that's just kind of how business works a little bit. It's all sacrifice until you get to the points where you're finally doing something. And then for me, it was just I knew what I had to do in order to attract more people, so I had to just kind of put my nose, down and just head to the grind and kind of get the things I needed in place in order to start going.
Yeah, I appreciate your hustle, man. I like that you started doing free work, and I remember doing that too. Like, uh, you know, the free work always gets people interested, and then
Yeah.
from then you build up and like, okay, this is my case study. Yeah, I did all this work for free, but this is going to be my case study for the next thing. And you add it to your portfolio, and that kind of culminated to what you have on your website. If you guys go to the Howie G website, like just the first, like as soon as you hop on it, like there's his portfolio. That's the first thing that you see, just shots and shots and shots of like different things. I think you did that brilliantly because um, from my experience, like your attention span on a website is like 5 to 7 seconds, and you capture like as soon as you jump on there, the attention is grabbed.
Yeah, thank you.
And I can't stress enough. Go check out his website. Some really, really cool looking music videos that you've helped to direct. How did those start? Like how were you able to land those videos? I mean, striking visuals, like just really well put together. How did those come to be?
Yeah, actually, one of those, I think the very first shot is, I believe it's a girl looking into a microphone. I believe that's actually the first video I've done, and that's just one of the ones I did for free after I kind of built up all my stuff. I know I always got a lot of opinions from people like, you could just get like one or two things and like keep going. And like I said before, it's like I wanted to establish my own look so I could have my own brand. So that's kind of what I led to. And then she was the first person I got to work with. I did a lot of stuff with her before I moved as well too. And then from that, actually, what's actually kind of cool, like her video led to someone seeing that and going, "Ooh, I like that style." And then I ended up working with them, and then it just kind of went from there. People would see more stuff I did, and they just want to kind of something similar to that, and then we started working from there.
Nice. What is usually your process? Let's say, for example, I'm an artist. I want to shoot, um, let's say, a music video or a music session at least.
Yeah.
What is your process? You just show up with your equipment and start banging away?
Oh no, yeah, I'd do something horrible if I just showed up. There's so much that goes into planning of it. Initially, when I talk to people, I always ask, what's their vision and like what they're looking for, and then we try to go over the fact of what you're looking for versus like what your budget's gonna be, because that's kind of huge is the bigger thing, and then depending on what their budget is, and even if the budget isn't that great, we still try to cater something that's going to work towards that. And so, like, once we have a vision, then we go about executing it. And then I put together treatments for people, and treatments essentially are just like these look packages that say, like, hey, these are what we want it to look like. These are what the shots will look like. Here's
Hmm.
the story. Here's the locations. It's basically there's just this big perspectives you put together for people to kind of give them the idea that we're on the same page. And then from there, I'll do like shot list, and I'll go over lighting things, and I just put a bunch of work in the pre-production, and then I show up to set and do everything. So there's a bunch of energy that goes into it before,
Hmm.
essentially planning out the entire thing first, and then going to set, knowing what you're doing, so you can be more efficient in your shots.
Right.
And
Yeah,
there's
absolutely. I like that you like you said it's not like even with a small budget, like sometimes you can manage to put on a nice scene or a nice shot um, for $0, just like working with the light and everything?
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the bigger challenges and that's the thing I'm still even learning more, is just figuring out like different unique ways to light. For me, I think that's the most essential thing anyway, is learning how to light. Because, if you can shape light a certain way, you can make anything look like anything. And then you can figure out ways to do that with no light. Some of my favorite directors and DPs, they're good at just taking natural light and bouncing it off of different places and getting like different looks and stuff for it. So it's just learning how to be very efficient with the lighting you have or the lighting you don't have.
Yep.
That's so cool. It's an entire world that I know nothing about. So I'm glad there are people like you that do. But moving forward, you've done some film, some music videos. What are the projects that you really want to focus on, like moving forward?
Yeah, right now I'm expanding. Like I just started working with a new business partner, and he has more of a music background, which kind of helps out for music video work and stuff. But end all goal eventually is I want to do more narrative driven things, and that comes down to corporate work as well as like feature films and things like that as well too. So that's the end all goal, is to just have my own production studio eventually, and then be doing my own narrative style work.
Nice. I like the corporate part because you're right. There is a trend now. Like corporate is trying to have a robust like social media channel, like a YouTube or a Facebook or whatever. So they need all this content to be shot and directed and all that stuff. And that's where you come in, like the drone shots and the company mission and vision. All those videos that you see on YouTube, those are shot by people like you.
Yeah, with technology today, and we have so many different internet companies that offer so much content available to people. Like there's just so many avenues to market business and for everything. Instagram is just great for business in my opinion, and TikTok is great for business. I don't think people have even like really dove into TikTok as far as what it can do for business and everything, especially for music. It's changed the music industry tremendously. Like now you can be a nobody, go make one song and it goes viral, and you have like millions of followers. Next thing you know, you've got a music career out of nowhere.
Yeah,
You're right. We're only scratching the surface with that one.
I think the perception is still like it's dance videos for 14-year-old girls. Like, why should I be on TikTok? And there's this whole underground emerging off of that like misconception, I think, right now.
Yeah, it's a unique company. Like you need to really get in and kind of cater your algorithm to yourself. But there's like a whole like underworld of actual content besides dancing and weird stuff like that.
So
tell us a little bit about the editing part. Do you seek help, or do you do your own editing?
Right now, I do my own editing, and my business partner does a lot of it now. And it really just depends on what the job we're doing. There's a lot of times where I just get hired just to be the cinematographer, and I just shoot it and give it to people. There's a few artists that I shoot for them, and they'll edit themselves. So, which is nice. My favorite to do.
So you're pretty flexible with your process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At this point in time, I'm like, I can do everything. Eventually I want to get down to the point where I'm only doing like one or two things and just kind of hone in on those being my, specific skill set. But as of now, it's just learn as much as I can in everything and be able to do it.
Absolutely.
Well, where's your favorite way for people to reach out to you?
Honestly, anyway, through Instagram or through my website is probably really the easiest. You can just email me that way. But a lot of people just kind of hit me up on Instagram most of the time. It seems to be the simplest way. No one's doing business cards or anything anymore.
Yeah. Got them over there at Instagram/HG Films, right over here at the website. Lots of way to get a hold of them. Thank you for jumping on. We go way back from our Wright State days, and I've been seeing all these awesome videos you've been working on. I'm like, oh, we need to get him on Business Shenanigans.
Awesome. Yeah. Glad to be here. Glad we get to caught up after so long. We had our own little college shenanigans back in the day.
All right. Thanks, guys.